welcome to Holmes Yoga. I'm Alex. It's been a little while since I've been able to post a video, so I'm really happy to be back. Today we're going to be doing a short sequence that's focusing on side plank. Side plank is a wonderful strengthener for both the shoulder complex and the abdominal wall, specifically the muscles that wrap around the side body, so the internal and external obliques, the transversus abdominis. It's a great stabilizer, and I think it's also a really wonderful pose for helping you figure out where you are in space. And there are two variations of side plank that we can do, and we'll play with both of them. So one is more linear, and then the other one is a little more curvy and lifted a little bit higher up off the floor. So the first thing that I'd like for us to experiment with is to come standing and just take a moment to connect to your feet and lift and spread your toes. Go ahead and take a look down at your feet. Lift and spread your toes and really spread your pinky toes out to the sides. Now, when I lift and spread the pinky toe out, I feel the muscles on the outer shin fire, and they kind of hug the shins in towards each other. So do that action as well. Lift and spread your toes, especially the pinky, and then squeeze your feet towards each other, and hopefully you'll feel the engagement all the way up the insides of the legs. Good, and then lay down the pinky toe first, just do your best, and then the fourth toe, and then the third toe, and then the second toe, and then the big toe. So hopefully you see the color of your mat between all of your toes. And keep that firing through the outer shins and that hugging in of your feet and your legs towards each other. And then from there, just play with the position of your pelvis, tip your pelvis back and forth until you find somewhere that feels like neutral. So it can help to place your hands on your hip bones and that you feel your hip bones are looking straight ahead. And then one more time, look down towards your waistline and draw your ribs back. So not so much that you feel tension in your low back, but just enough that you feel the muscles that wrap around the sides and in the front tone. And then put your head on top of that all, chin parallel to the floor, and slide your throat back. And then interlace your hands on top of your head for a moment and get taller. So as you relax the shoulders down away from the ears, press the top of your head up into your hands. And do that by grounding down through your legs and lengthening your spine up and out of your pelvis. And then just relax your arms by your sides and feel your nice, tall mountain pose. And then from there, lift your right arm out to the side and then go ahead and peek at your hand and just see that the hand isn't too far back behind the shoulder. So the body works like a seesaw. If the hand goes too far back, the shoulder's going to pop forward, right? You want the arm bone to stay in its socket and claw your fingertips into the air like that as if you were trying to palm a basketball. And then take your opposite hand to that right side of the chest and broaden the collarbone. So you're not pushing back towards the wall behind you at all, you're just broadening. And then from there, turn your head over the opposite shoulder. Keep all the connection to the core and feel that work through the legs. And then draw the shoulder blade, the right shoulder blade, in towards the spine as you press out into the air. And take a few breaths here. And so having your hand here as kind of a guardrail is really nice because there can be this tendency to turn the whole rib cage, the whole torso. Just turning your head, pressing out into the air, and as much as you're pressing out, drawing the shoulder blade on the back. One more breath. And then turn your head to neutral. Release your arms by your side, second side. Inhale, extend your left arm out. Just take a peek at where the arm is in space. Claw your fingertips into the air as if you were palming a ball. Broaden through the collarbone. Draw shoulder blade in towards your spine as you reach out and extend through your arm, and then turn your head over the opposite shoulder. And a few breaths here. And one more. So feeling these opposite actions, reaching out and drawing in. And then turn your head to neutral and release your arms down by your sides. Go ahead and stand at the back of your mat. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. And then again, draw the ribs back, lengthen through both sides of the waist, ground through the legs, and feel the space above you. And then as you exhale, lead with the heart, hinge from the hips, and fold. Inhale, lengthen, and really focus on the length through the sides of the waist. You can pop your hands up onto blocks or your shins if you'd like. And then exhale, bow in. So
Take your hands to your ribs for a moment, to your bottom ribs, and draw your rib cage in so you feel more space in your back. And then from there, interlace your hands around your head and just let the weight of your hands encourage your spine to lengthen. And then feel all that length through the sides of the waist. Take one more breath in here. Release your hands to the floor and then walk out to plank pose. Now I'm going to ask you to lower your knees down for this first one. Look down the front of the body, and then once again, draw the ribs up, right? So this is a different relationship to gravity. You've got a little bit more load. Draw the bottom ribs up, lower your hips down, and then put your head on top of it all. And then feel these opposing actions that we worked on before of drawing the shoulder blades onto the back as you push out through the bones of the arms. Squeeze your legs towards each other and spread your pinky toes here. And then lower slowly all the way down. Point your toes. And then extend your left arm out by your side. Press your hand down, draw your shoulder blade on your back, and then keeping these muscles around the shoulder blades firing, you're just gonna lift your elbow so it's in line with your shoulder, right? Keeping that, and then if you wanna play with extending the arm out to the side, you can do that. And then bend the elbow. Sorry, I'm just realizing my arm probably got cut off there. It's all right. And then you'll do the second side. So I'm gonna scoot up a little bit. Right, so you're gonna goal post the arm, press your forearm down to lift the shoulder head up, and then firing these muscles of the upper back. You're gonna lift your elbow. It doesn't have to be a lot higher than the shoulder, and then extend it out to the side. And then feel that same thing that we were working on before, reaching out through the bones of the arms as you draw the shoulder blade on the back. And then bend the elbow and lower down. And then press into the forearms, lift your head and chest up. So you're pressing down a little bit, but not so much that your body's gonna fall down a whole lot as you lift your arms up. So goal posting both arms, and then reaching the arms out, kind of more like the letter V, so a high diagonal. And really feel the muscles in between the shoulder blades and the muscles that pull the shoulder blades down the back. Feel those fire up. One more breath. And then lower down and rest a moment. And then take your hands to the floor. And inhale, rise up for Cobra Dog. So elbows are a little bit bent. Legs, thighs are on the floor. Right. Work your glutes, work your legs, draw your shoulders back. Feel like a dachshund, you know, those super long hot dog dogs. So lots of length between the hips and through the sides of the body, up to the armpits. And then lift your low belly, roll over your knees, and then angle back to downward facing dog. I'm just gonna tuck my shirt in. There we go, downward facing dog. And then inhale through to plank pose. This time pivot both toes to your left. So here I'm on the outside edge of the right foot, the inside edge of the left foot. Now spread your toes, especially spread your pinky toes, and lift your waistline up. Gaze is to the space between the hands, just slightly forward of it. So you might naturally have a little bit more weight in one hand than the other. That's normal. But if you notice like a drastic shift, like if you're all the way over to one side, just try and even it out a little bit more. Lift your waistline. Press the pinky toe edge of your foot into the floor to lift your waistline. Hopefully that's starting to really get you some connection to the obliques. And then lift your heels through center and just go right over to the other side. All right, press, karate chop the edges of your feet into the floor to lift your waistline up. And finding that place of effort and exertion without like the eye bulging, teeth gritting thing that sometimes happens. Just another breath here. Inhale, lift through center. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to float your right leg to the sky. Exhale, coil the knee into the navel. Step your foot in between your hands. Spin your back foot flat and then come up to warrior two. Now take your right hand, your right palm up to your thigh and push down. So you sink a little bit deeper into that front leg. And as you're rooting down, now take your hands to the sides of the ribs and lift up. Right, lift up. There can be a tendency to puff up the chest a little bit too much. So it's not wrong to do that. You just want to make sure that you're keeping the connection of your ribs moving back. So as much as you're lowering down, lifting up. Interlace the hands together at the back of your head now. Press your head back into your hands, pull your elbows apart, sit a little deeper into your front leg. Reach out through the arms. Grip your fingertips into the air. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other and down as you push out through the arms. Turn and look over your right hand. One more breath. Now, side angle prep, bring your forearm to your thigh, and then push your forearm down into your leg and lift your right side waist up away from your thigh. All right, so you're lifting the side waist up and pressing the forearm down, which will hopefully get you some connection to those obliques there. So it's a little bit curvy. It might not be quite so linear, a little bit curvy. 3 more breaths. On the exhale, you can really press your forearm down and try and lift your right side waist up. 2. And 1. And then lower your hands down and step back to dog pose. Inhale, floats your left leg to the sky. Exhale, step it up. Spin your back foot flat. And come on up, warrior 2. So settle down through the lower body. Lengthen up through the upper body, particularly the side waist. Hands behind your head. Press your head back. Lift your chest up. Root down a little bit lower. Extend out through the arms. Reach out as much as you're drawing in. And then turn your gaze over your left hand. Smooth, even breath. 3 more. There's a big tendency to kind of push towards that front leg. So stay right in your center. And then turning it into side angle prep, forearm to thigh. Lifting the side waist up and then pushing the forearm down. A few more breaths here. Almost push the forearm down and away and really lift the rib cage up off your thigh. 1 more breath. And then taking your hands to the floor, stepping back to downward facing dog. Inhale through to plank pose. So let's first lower the right knee down. Kickstand your right leg off to the side a little bit, and then turn open so you bring the inside of your left foot to the floor. Right, so you're just gonna work here. Now take your left hand to the top of your head, and like you did earlier, just press the top of your head against your hand. Draw your ribs back without flattening the curve of your low back. So you're not trying to push your hips forward, but just lengthen your tail back towards that left foot. Now put a little tiny bend into your bottom arm, and then wrap your tricep, the pinky finger side of your arm muscle, back towards your knee. And then as much as you're drawing the shoulder blade onto the back, push down through the arm. Feel the side waist fire up and lift up away from the floor so much that maybe you can start to hover that right knee up. All right, keep spreading the pinky toe of that left foot. 1 more breath here. And then lower it down, and then make your way to the other side. So you're gonna kickstand your left leg off your mat a little bit. This time inside edge of the right foot to the floor. Shoulder blade on the back as much as you're pushing down. Spread the pinky toe. Press the inside edge of the foot down. Lift the waistline so much that maybe you hover the knee. Maybe you just hover the knee, or maybe you hover your foot up off the floor as well. 3 more breaths. And then lower down, back to hands and knees. So that got me some good connection through the obliques, hopefully for you as well. And then this time, step into plank pose. Now you're gonna pivot both toes to the left again. Now really feel how as you push the outside edge of your foot into the floor, that action lifts the waistline up. That action there, right? Stack your feet, take your left hand to your hip. Now start to turn your chest, your rib cage to face forward, but keep your shoulder blade pinned back. If you'd like, you can free your top arm. You can gaze straight ahead. You can also play with taking your gaze up towards your hand. If this bothers your neck at all, it's also great to look down at the ground. 3 more breaths here. Reach your head away from your heels. Spread your pinky toes. 2. 1 more. And then lower that left hand down. This time pivot both toes to the right. Push the pinky toe edge of your foot into the floor. Stack your legs, come onto your right fingertips to start. Feel the connection of shoulder blades to upper back as you start to turn open. Free the right arm up. You want this arm just kind of hanging out in space. So as if you were holding a ball, or you could actually do this holding a block. Start to turn, open gaze up. One more breath here. And then lowering the right hand down, lower all the way down. Sweep your arms by your sides. Inhale, lift your head, your chest, your arms, your legs. Bring your feet all the way to touch. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your inner thighs. Press your feet together. 3, 2, one more breath. Lower down. And then bring your hands to the floor by your heart. Push up to your hands and knees. And step back to downward facing dog. So this time you're going to stay high from downward facing dog. Same thing. Pivot both toes to the left. Now float your armpits away from the floor. Lift your gaze. Stack your feet. From there, you can actually take your left hand to your upper outer right arm and then find that external rotation, right? So the bicep is spinning towards your thumb, tricep spinning towards your pinky. Stay lifted. So the hand on the floor works a little harder. Push down and forward to the top of your mat and then start to turn open in this way. Just like we did standing, you can also take your left hand to the right collarbone. You're not pushing back, you're broadening as you turn your rib cage towards the ceiling. And free that arm if you'd like. Take your hand behind your head if you'd like. Another breath here. And then slowly make your way back to downward facing dog. So you gotta lift your pelvis up a little bit. And then pivot your toes to the right. Stack your feet. Feel the lift of your hips, of your waistline. Spin your upper arm externally. Bicep spinning towards the thumb. Hand to the collarbone to promote broadening. And then turn from the rib cage. You're going to take your hand behind your head. If you'd like, press your head back into your hands. Lift your chest. Feel the connection all through the core. Couple more breaths. And then slowly release the right hand down and lower your knees down. Walk your hands back. Come all the way up to your fingertips. Take your hands to your pelvis. As you pull your hip bones down to the ground, just like we did before, lengthen up and out. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Puff up your chest so your head only moves back as your chest is lifting up. It's very different than breaking the line of energy at the neck. So push down, lift up, stay zipped up through your low belly as you reach your fingertips towards your heels. So if you have blocks, you can also take your hands to blocks. We haven't done a whole lot of back bend preps, so I would recommend that you keep your toes curled under. Just brings the floor a little bit higher up to you. A few more breaths. Lips closed, breathing calmly through the nose. One more. Inhale. Exhale, zip up through your low belly. Head comes up and over last. Make your way onto your hands and knees once again. And then turn your chest open, lift your left arm to the sky. And then as you exhale, thread the needle. So a little bit of a twist. You can adjust the right hand, come to your fingertips. Press down through the knees. Stay long through the sides of the waist. So the tendency here is going to be for your pelvis to swing over to the right side. Right, so stay long through the right side waist. And on your next inhale, unwind back to hands and knees. Take a moment to reset, and then inhale, twist open to the right. Exhale, thread the needle. Stay long, so you're almost wagging your tail over towards your right knee, turning open. A few more breaths here. On your next inhale, unwind. Cross at the ankles, have a seat. Extend the legs out in front of you. And sitting up nice and tall. Press your thigh bones into the ground
Exhale, bowing forward. Maintain that connection to the sides of the waist, nice and long and strong. Bottom ribs lifting away from your thighs. So it's the top of the head that's reaching. Firm your thighs, ground your heels. 3 more long, slow breaths. Last one. And then make your way back up to sit. And let's have a little lie down, Shavasana. Take a nice breath in, sigh it out, let it go. Just give yourself a few moments to energetically and physically settle. Notice the effects of your practice on your body, on your energy, on your mental state. Just connecting to that newfound awareness that you have of the side body, your core canister, so to speak. Soften through the sensory organs, so releasing the lower jaw, releasing the eyes, releasing the skin on the inner and outer corners of the eyes. Soften and widen through the space inside the ears. Let your body become heavier. Settling into the stillness, the silence, the quiet. And staying connected to that still point inside as you deepen your breath. And fold your hands over your body, and then one at a time bend your knees and bring your feet to the floor. Roll onto your side. Make your way up to sit. Thanks so much for hitting your mat with me today. If you enjoyed this and you like more, I teach 5 p.m. every Monday on Instagram Live. That might change in the future, but for now, that's the public offering that I have. Please feel free to join me and leave questions or comments. Thanks so much. Namaste.